evening, everyone. This is Rod Carter with Transforming Lives, Planting Seeds Transforming Lives. And first, before I forget, this is our last show for the year. Of course, the holidays be coming up. We normally do everything the third Wednesday of the month. And I want you to be aware right now some changes will be occurring. This will be the last on this platform called Transforming Lives, Planting Seeds Transforming Lives, because next time it will be called To Strive to Seek to Find and Not to Yield. Planting Seeds Transforming Lives will be part of the TCG platform, which you'll hear more about because we have our upcoming conference coming up in February, which you'll hear more about through some advertisement across the board or whatever. But for this evening, I'm very excited. The fact that I'm with Mr. Dean, Mr. Thomas Dean, who is from Texas, originally from Texas, and I have two of his pride students or scholars from back in the day, Jason Daniels, who's actually down in Texas, and Mr. Earl Jones Jr. will be popping in soon. Earl just received his MBA this past week from Morgan. Jason, of course, got his MBA from University of Maryland, but he went actually undergraduate. He went to Virginia State. So, Jason, the game plan is the following. Mr. Dean is the man. So we're going to have Mr. Dean talk about some things for about 15 minutes. Then you'll come in about 15 minutes later when I tell Mr. Dean to shut up. Okay. And so then you're going to be saying some things for about 15 minutes. And then Earl will be coming on about 15 minutes. And then for the last 15 minutes, we're going to really just have a good conversation from some of the things that we'll discuss for all three of you guys. Is that understood? Is that understood? Got you. Okay. Mr. Dean, let's talk about how you came to Morgan State University.
No, I came to Morgan State on a football scholarship.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting because I'm from Dallas, Texas, and Morgan is in Baltimore. And back in the '60s, especially in the early '60s, going to Baltimore from Dallas, that was like going across the seas someplace. But at any rate, I had a full scholarship, so there was no problem. There was no problem with having it paid for.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were concerned initially about how it would be paid for, but I assured them that everything was great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I ended up there on a football scholarship. And I ended up playing 4 years. I started all 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and ended up signing with the New York Giants.
Uh-oh.
And decided to go back and finish my 6 credits.
Uh-huh.
And enter the professional arena. And after I got my degree, I ended up making about as much money as I would playing football back then. So I went right in to pursue my MBA and got my MBA in 1973.
Okay. Now, you stated that when you graduated, when you got your degree and you started to work, let's talk about the companies that you was involved with. And tell me about that transition that you had from being an athlete into actually going to the real world.
Well, I was in this world all along because, this is what I was doing. I was playing football, but I also went to college.
Right.
And I also had summer jobs and that type thing. So, looking for a professional job when I finished college was a natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that on the same day that I finished my college credits, I ended up with a contact with the Lever Brothers Manufacturing Company.
So
I went and interviewed and got the job right away. So, the rest is history.
now, what was your major was at Morgan?
My major was business administration.
Did you focus on any particular part of business administration, marketing, finance, or whatever?
While I was in college, I really didn't focus on any particular area.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started for my MBA, I focused on management and marketing.
Okay, fantastic. Now, I know I'm going to be doing a show about this probably coming up in March. A reference to you being an athlete and how he's able to transfer some of those skills as being an athlete over into the corporate world. Can you enumerate and talk about that a little more?
Well, the one thing that is clear, success success, anything requires pretty much the same skills, the same mentality, the same discipline, the self-discipline, the maturity, and the character.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be serious about whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, if you're going to play football, there's certain things you have to do. If you're gonna go to any company and succeed, you have to be totally focused and disciplined to do the work that's required in the position.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really amazing that the things that make that I try to tell my student athletes,
Mm-hmm.
the same skills that will make you successful in sports, those same skills will make you successful in the classroom and in your professional pursuits.
Now, when you had that job with the Lever Brothers, were you able to identify a mentor or someone to as a role model for you regarding that transition?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did, because the guy that I had classes with
Mm-hmm.
Was a guy, an older gentleman who worked for Lever Brothers. He had been with Lever Brothers for about 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just getting his degree
Mm-hmm.
in the late stages.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing when I went to Lever Brothers. One of the first people I ran into was this guy.
Oh, really?
And he automatically became my mentor.
Now, that's a prime example of networking, and you wasn't realizing you were networking while you were taking the class. Would you agree with that?
Of course. In other words, sometimes you don't realize it, but these things go on automatically.
Mm-hmm.
In everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Even as we talk here tonight, everybody who's listening is listening for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who is speaking is speaking for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a number of things that you get from everything that you do.
Now, let's backtrack a little bit. When you left Texas and came to Baltimore, how was that transition? And let's talk about that. What were those transition issues that you had being away from home like that? Did you have any friends from the family that were in the Baltimore, D.C. area, or just nobody?
Well, I didn't know anybody. Now, one thing is, one of my best friends in my graduating class, he was the number 2 male in the class. I was number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to Howard University when I came to Morgan.
Okay.
But the transition for me was made easy because of the guys who played at Morgan. I mean, these were some of the most professional and mature and serious guys I had ever met. And there were 3 or 4. There were 3 guys at Morgan who had the same coach that I had in Dallas.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they were from Houston.
Uh-huh.
And the coach, after James Phillips graduated and came to Morgan,
uh-huh,
that coach came to Dallas, and I had him in my senior year.
So in other words, you ended up having a family connection right there before you even knew it, right?
Yeah, that was there. That was almost an automatic thing. Yes.
But when I went to school in Boston, there was a friend of the family. The last thing he said to me before he had a stroke, he says, "Going to Boston, you find yourself a church and you find yourself a family, and you'll be all right." And my closest friend was actually from Roxbury, and they became my family. And then when his younger brother came down to go to Morgan, my family was able to extend that same love that they gave me. And so often I always talk to students when they're going off to college and say, look, you have to make those connections because somebody's going to be your uncle, your auntie May, or somebody while you're at college. It might be the person that works right there at the cafeteria. Someone might be working there in the dorm, but you need to identify someone because there was somebody that was always looking after you or on your case while you was in school. Am I right?
That's right. That's right. And sometimes these things are happening and you don't even know
it. Now, how many years were you at Lever Brothers?
I was only there for about a year and a half.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
there for about a year and a half, and I was working on my MBA,
Mm-hmm.
and some other opportunities came up, and I just kept moving.
Okay. Now, after Lever Brothers, what new opportunities came to you, and how did they come to you?
Well, I guess it was an interesting situation. Um, you know, when I had been at Lever Brothers about a year and a half, some kind of way the word came to me that this community organization uh, that basically dealt in a number of different areas. But one of the programs that they operated was a health care program. They
Mm-hmm.
ran a medical center,
Mm-hmm.
and that medical center was looking for a marketing director.
Mm-hmm.
And I applied, and I was hired. And the success story just kept going. I went there and had great success there, and just kept on going.
Now let's really go forward now. Before we came on air, you were sharing with me in reference to the programs you developed. The program you developed. Let's talk about that. Tell what the program was about and how you came about doing it.
Well, the program that I ended up starting was the Baltimore Youth Alliance
Mm-hmm.
Incorporated,
Mm-hmm.
and that I ended up starting it because when my son went to Dunbar High School to play basketball, uh, I lucked out and was assigned to a company here in Baltimore because at that time a uh, I was a management consultant
Mm-hmm.
with a company based in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and they signed me to a company here in Baltimore. I saved this company about $4 million in about 2 or 3 weeks, and the owner of the company went on a fishing trip and left me to run his company, a company of about 75 employees. And there was only one black employee in the company, but because of the programs and policies that I had put in place, managing it was not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up with having being concerned about my son, so I would go down to the school.
Mm-hmm.
So after I saved them this money, the owner said, "Look, you saved me enough money. You don't even have to come here anymore." He paid the company that I worked for about 6 weeks
Mm.
before we terminated the relationship. But I was going down to the school. I ended up volunteering at the school. While volunteering at the school, I was able to see that the SAT was the most important thing that a kid could have. But I could also see that the SAT was the thing that was the biggest deterrent
Mm-hmm.
to our academic and professional success.
Mm-hmm.
And I set up a program there at Dunbar, and we prepared for the students to take the test. The scores came in after we had been going a couple of months. The scores came in, and when the kids got their scores, everybody came to school the next day, and they were running through the hallways, waving their scores and papers and screaming, and it was just crazy. After that, I figured that my support was done, and I turned the program over to the school.
Oh.
And some kind of way there was a lot of issues that came up and all that. But after that, I started coaching AAU basketball because of my son again.
Mm-hmm.
And the one of the kids that came to play for me had a father. His father was the head coach for Southern High School, which they had great basketball players.
Yeah, that was Mr. Name. He just passed away, right? Who was the coach at Southern?
Yes, yeah, Smitty passed away
Yeah,
2
right,
years ago.
right.
Yeah,
Because I used to work with his wife Cassie at Project
yeah,
Red.
right.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, and Oh, and with some other things, but I won't get off on that track. But we were riding down to the Charlie Weber tournament down at the University of Maryland, and he was just complaining like hell about all these great basketball players he had, but they couldn't get the SAT scores. I mean, a lot of major Division I schools were trying to recruit these kids, but they didn't have the scores. So I said, "Oh, okay, man, all right." Because when I left Dunbar, I just said I'd never be involved with it again. So I said, "Okay, man, I'll help you." And and we ended up setting up a program for the basketball players initially, but then the principal got with me, and I agreed to do it for the school. And the success occurred the same as it did at Dunbar. But there were two kids. One kid who was a senior, one was a junior. The girl was a junior, and they were both going to be valedictorians of their classes, and they weren't going to make a great score on the SAT.
Okay.
So I went to a friend of mine and I asked him to use his boardroom to help these two kids. And he checked with his partners and they said, okay. And I looked up in about 3 or 4 weeks, I had 20 something students.
Okay. Now what I want to do real quick is, what do you think was the major variable that turned these kids around, reference to what you was doing or anything in particular? Because I'm very excited right now because one, Jason's going to come right after, but Wardell, his father, has stepped up to the plate because I think he has some things to share as a parent. So what do you think was the major variable that turned a lot of the kids around?
Well, it's difficult to point to any one thing. There's a combination of, first of all, me understanding what they needed, and then figuring out how to make sure they would get it. Then we had to figure out how we get the kids to show up, how we get them to sit down, how we get them to not talk, how we get them to believe that they can actually get it. And then once they believe they can actually get it and they'll work for it, now that's when we have to go to work.
Okay. So it boils down to when they decided to take ownership, that's when things went up. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, because once they had a belief, Hebrews 11:1.
Faith is substance things.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for. The substance of this thing that you hope for this college education. And that's a big deal. That has great substance. Okay, the substance of this thing that you hope for. Now, the evidence, what will make me believe that I can actually do these things to be able to go to college, not only go to college, but go to college for free. Not only go to college for free, but to succeed.
Okay.
And it was the evidence, it was the performance of the first 2 or 3 students we had. Got a kid named Emmanuel Lewis and Tracy Campbell. It's now Tracy Cromwell.
Okay. You know your students.
Those 2 students, they kicked it off because they believed in me. They did whatever I told them. It worked. So I can always point to their success as evidence. Without the evidence, somebody will say, well, what the hell, you saying you can do this, but why should I believe you can?
Okay.
So you gotta have the evidence.
And the irony of the title of this show is Planting Seeds, Transforming Lives. Mr. Dean, we're gonna come back to you probably the last 20 minutes or 50 minutes of the show. Jason, are you just still there? Jason? Wardell. Jason Wardell.
I am here.
Okay. And I'm so glad your dad is part of this because everything's gonna come together because your dad actually mentored Earl when he was at McCormick. You was aware of that, right, Jason?
Yes.
So, Jason, okay, now it's your time to tell your song and dance. Let's talk.
Where should I start?
Okay, let's talk about how you met me.
I think I met Mr. Dean before I met you.
Oh, really?
I believe so.
Okay. And how'd you hear about Mr. Dean?
Honestly, I think I took the PSAT, and my scores were not good at all, and my grades weren't that good because I was kind of lazy. So one day, my parents they took me to SAT prep early in the morning on a Saturday. I wasn't happy about it. It was small in there, it was hot, it was a lot of kids, but ended up changing my life. I'd say for the better.
And correct me, weren't you a football player too?
Yeah, in high school I was.
Okay.
It was never really my passion though, but it was just something that I did. It was actually my first time ever playing football, and I was pretty good at it.
Okay. Were you a linebacker, running back, or just want to hit people no matter what?
On offense, I played the pulling guard, and then on defense, I played the defensive end.
Okay. Now let's talk about while you was there. What happened? What turned you on in reference to the program, and when did you start seeing everything was kind of clicking? Because of course you met me after the fact, and I think I kind of piggyback on some of the things that Mr. D was teaching you, right?
Right. So, I went through the program at BYA, and I leaned into it. I was able to really learn, and I increased my score enough to go ahead and get a full academic scholarship from Virginia State University to study computer science. And then, I was I felt so empowered and indebted to the program that I came back that following summer after my first year of school to help teach. I believe it was an English SAT prep. So that just to give back. I mean, I was also making some money, I like my money, but it was more about the give back to me. And it was like an unbeatable experience to be able to help mold the younger generation and do what was done for me to really give it back. That was great.
Mr. Dean, look, he learned one of the secrets of life, understanding of too much is given, much is required, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you used to hear that from somebody all the time, right? Mr. Scott Phillips.
The thing, one of the greatest things for Jason, he was doing well in college. But one of the things that changed him when he came back to work for us that next summer, he actually participated as a teacher, but he also was a student because he took advantage of a data analytics training program that we had.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that data analytics training, I mean, you could see the bulb go off. It took him to another level. I'm not surprised at any level that he will reach from this point. And look, this kid not even 26, 27.
I'm 26. I just turned 26. Yep.
Yeah. Look, still a baby, making more money than you and I made. When we were 65.
Now, Jason, let's talk about actually what are you doing right now? Let's talk about your experience at Virginia State, because I remember during that process there was another school you wanted to go to, and all of a sudden out of the clear blue sky, Mr. Dean, you do the right thing, and it comes back at you more ways you imagine. And your mom, your dad was screaming out and said, I wanted to go to so-and-so, but we couldn't turn it down. And I thought of everything. I said, oh, my God, they got a special new program here. And Jason had positioned himself the right spot to take it to another level. So let's talk about your experience down at Virginia State, and what you with that.
Sure. To really wrap it all in. So after I was able to get the acceptance to Virginia State, I participated in the BPM program, the college readiness program. And, that helped to, sculpt me into a professional man. I had the educational and the test experience, the college experience, and now I'm able to get a bit of the corporate from BPM. And excuse me, when I was 17 years old, I went to the BEA conference with you, Rod Carter. Yeah. And I think that changed my life. To be 17 it was my first career fair, seeing everybody, especially people that look like me, out there, talking and presenting themselves, selling themselves to different companies and stuff like that, actually getting jobs. The fast-paced nature of it, how to talk to people, the confidence that you have to have, and knowing yourself, your experience, I think that probably was integral in a bit of how I formed my personality over the last decade. Essentially because I do carry myself. I'm an introvert, but I do carry myself with confidence in spaces and stuff like that. So I went to the BEA conference that first year, and they didn't like my resume, and so they gave me places to improve. And I went again my first year at Virginia State. Virginia State wouldn't even take me with them because they didn't take computer science students. They only took students from the School of Engineering. So I called a train myself and went to the BEA conference and interviewed with Northrop Grumman. I ended up not getting it, but that's the summer I worked with Mr. Dean, got that Excel certification. The next year, I was the only sophomore at Virginia State to get invited to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund conference that happens real big. And I ended up getting interviews with all these different companies. And I was prepared. So I ended up doing an internship with KPMG,
right?
The consulting firm, the advisory audit. I was doing IT audit, so essentially I was helping the company to go in and to audit their technical systems to make sure that they're up to par and according to requirements, security requirements and stuff like that. And I thought it was so boring. And I did it for 2 years. And then at the end of that, they ended up not even giving me the job offer.
Now you was doing that downtown Baltimore. I would see you from time to time, right?
Yeah, I was at what's the one right there?
T. Rowe Price Building.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But that was okay because that made me go harder. It's about the consistency. It's about the believing in yourself. You know what I'm saying? The persistence. So after working with them for 2 years, my resume was pretty stacked. Also in that time, I did a semester-long internship with a small subcontractor with the government called Dark Blade, and this was under Booz Allen Hamilton, and I taught myself about this cool technology that it was like a new programming language for talking within databases, and I built a little website around that. That was pretty cool. But all these experiences kind of culminated at Virginia State. I took leadership positions. I was on class council, freshman year. After I resurrected, I was on the resurrection line for my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Chi Alpha chapter. The next year, I was the president. Yeah, I had to shout out my boys. I was I was the president of my chapter, and I just was able to use a lot of the leadership that I've learned through both of your programs and through just what I've just been around, all the great men that you've mentioned before. It's a very tight-knit community of great men in Baltimore, which I really appreciate. I'm glad to be a part of that and have been mentored by that. My chapter that I came from, I don't know this year, but I'm pretty sure. But as of last year, we were the #1 collegiate chapter in the world. So just I like to be associated with things that are great. And I think that's because y'all instill greatness in me. So, my last year after I didn't get the job with KPMG, started going hard, and I started applying lots of places, and I got an interview with Booz Allen Hamilton, which was like my dream job. Ended up going up there and interviewing, and then I heard back from them a couple months later, and ended up getting a job with them. I interviewed with IBM as well. And I really liked IBM. I liked the interview process. I liked the people that came to campus and interacted with us and how they treated us. So ultimately, I chose to go with IBM in Washington, D.C. And while I had that, I decided to go back to BEA for fun. I just wanted a free trip to D.C. So I went with Virginia State to BEA. They took me this time.
But you did a great interview for him. He said, "My name is Jason Daniels from the Virginia State University," with your big Sigma pin on the top. And that's probably one of my best videos I sent out to students because they react to what you had to say and the passion that you have. Yeah. So you came back to BEA. Was that in 2019? The last time we had a live one? Yeah.
No, it would have been my last year of school, so it was 2018.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And I remember I was just there and I was just enjoying and going around. We saw each other there,
Right.
but what is it? Lockheed Martin really wanted to interview me, and I was like, man, I don't even want to interview. But I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. And I'm in the interviews, I'm killing it. They see that I was the president of a chapter on the resume, so they were like, hold up. I guess one of the interviewers was an alpha.
Yes, he was.
He got up and left the room, came back in with 2 more Sigmas. At this point in my head, I'm like, all right, I got this job.
Mm-hmm.
I went home, and like before I went to sleep that night, like they called me with a job offer. It was just nice to be collecting job offers. I had already accepted the one at IBM.
Right.
So now I've been at IBM for 4 years. Yeah, 4+ years. I'm going towards my 5th year next September. And I spent the last 4 years doing government consulting as a business analyst. So essentially I would get into these contracts with these government agencies, and I would help them to implement things within whatever type of technology they're using, by helping them to, understand the capabilities of that technology, build out requirements and I would help them build out requirements for projects based on the capabilities of the technology. I would put that in a format that could be understood by a technical team, developers, testers, and they would actually implement the work. I would validate it, and then we would iterate through this software development lifecycle of, getting, these products out to them. Some of the agencies I work with are the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. I worked with, and there I was helping them build reports to track fraud using one of IBM's softwares. After that, I was at the 2020 Census Bureau, and we built a platform that all the call center representatives were using to call and collect people's census information. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool because that was my first time really getting to travel for work. So I got to go out to New York, to the international call center, and to monitor the technology in real time and to help troubleshoot and report back to a live bridge. I went to Colorado, Pueblo, Colorado. And then I ended up going to Dallas. And then that's when I went to Dallas, that was March of 2020. That's right when COVID hit. And my girlfriend was here. And it was really like, do I go back to Baltimore with my parents or stay in Dallas with my girlfriend? And
well,
I've been in Dallas ever since. So I recently switched over, excuse me, from consulting to sales at IBM. So now I am in I'm in a part of IBM that is set up to compete with kind of the brains at Google, at Amazon, stuff like that. We're trying to compete with, and so I'm in a pre-sales capacity where I kind of float between accounts, and I help to bring together things that might help to push a sale along, a sale of a service or technology. So whether that's like a custom demo or a proof of concept, proof of value, stuff like that, I'm able to go and help these different teams to build these things out to, close sales, which is pretty cool. And again, it's just all about confidence and being able to learn. I've never been in a sales role before. It's all been consulting or technical. But a lot of my experiences from my consulting, 4 years in consulting, are very parallel. And that's actually why they believe that I'm a great asset to the team, because I had that consulting experience. So
Jason, there's something that I forgot to bring out regarding your experience. Mr. Dean, of course, you was aware of the fact that Jason was doing a lot of traveling while he was in college. I would get a word, Jason was in Cuba. Never brought back my cigars, I asked, but that's beside the point. Next thing I know, Jason was in, what was it, Morocco?
I went to Morocco first.
Right.
I went to Morocco after my first semester.
Right.
No, as my second semester, going into sophomore year. And then after the first semester of sophomore year, I went to Cuba.
Now, how did you hear about those? How did you get yourself involved in those type of travel?
All right. So There was study abroad opportunities through the honors program at Virginia State.
Mm-hmm.
So because I was able to get my SAT scores up,
Mm-hmm.
I got that scholarship, I was automatically in the honors program. So I was able to reap the benefits of a lot of the things they were doing, including, you know, communication about study abroad. So since I was already involved with the honors program, which I actually worked for the honors program as well, and I was really close with the director, which gave me lots of benefits as well. I learned about this Morocco experience. My parents were all for it, and actually my grandmother, she paid for it.
Oh, I didn't know that part. I wish I had known that back. I could have been your traveling, you know, your sister. Be sure you stayed on the right narrow path while you was over in Morocco, you know. But
You know,
one of the things that Mr. Dean had said earlier in reference to how things happen for a reason and position yourself for certain things. One of the things we did in BPM, I stressed to getting that 3.0. And because you got that 3.0, you put you in that position to get the other scholarships and those opportunities. So, Mr. Dean, something very unique happened last year at this time. Here at Career Communications, we were doing a very special reach out to our schools with the HBC schools. And I asked Jason to be part of it. And Jason made a comment. And Jason, why don't you share with Mr. Dean and the world what happened on that regarding what you're doing regarding the book that you're eventually writing? The book.
Yes. So I was just
repeat that. I couldn't hear you.
I didn't say it yet.
You didn't say it yet.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, better.
I didn't hear Rod.
Okay.
Okay.
What happened was Jason was part of a very special presentation with some of the HBC schools in the engineering department for getting ready for Bayer. And I asked Jason to be one of the presenters there, and he made a comment, and Tyrone Doc Tabor got excited over the air.
Mm-hmm.
And everything just came together in reference to what Jason was about to do, what we're doing right now with the metaverse. So, Jason, why don't you share with the world exactly what came out of that whole discussion and where you're at right now? In fact, I have a copy of your book somewhere around here. But anyway, let's talk about that.
So I was speaking to the students, just telling them how to prepare for Bayer and the experience that they're about to embark on. And I was just giving them a bit of advice from my perspective. And I told them that if they don't know anything about, you know, cryptocurrency and the metaverse, that they should get into it because it's the future. And that every time there's a technological revolution in society, Black people get left behind. And that contributes to a lot of the reason why we're behind and everything else. It's just a cycle. So I was just explaining to them that I just wrote a free book on cryptocurrency to kind of really break down and explain things for everybody. You know, they could go download it if they wanted. And then, like you said, Doc got excited and said that he was also writing a book on the metaverse. So I ended up working with CCG and STEM City to build out their very own cryptocurrency called Bayacoin. And also CCG published my book, The Beginner's Guide to Crypto.
I'll get a copy in a second. Excuse me. Right back.
No worries. So yeah, that was just about you know, doing good work and then leveraging that to, you know, be in the right place at the right time. It was really cool. I have to.
Here it is, right here. See it?
Yep.
That's it. Mr. Dean, you had no idea you was producing another publisher, were you? Mr. Dean.
Hey, look, I know everybody's doing some things these days, you know. But I said I have to wait until I got kids make and 21 when we shut down is when we started making 1,500. So I'm retired now, so I didn't get to write my book.
Well,
but anyway, but that, yeah. But Jason's story, it's not the same, but they're all the same.
Uh-huh.
The one thing that we found is when a kid gets a certain foundation, the rest is history. The rest is history.
Now, Earl's in the studio. Earl, where are you?
I'm right here.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Where's Wardell? I want Wardell to come back up on the screen too, because something very unique in reference to this whole connection. Find your dad, Jason. I text him, but find your dad real quick.
I'm gonna see.
Okay, but okay. Earl Jones Jr. just received his MBA from Morgan State University,
Yes, sir.
and Earl, let me hear your song and dance real quick, and I'm gonna bring Wardell to probably add to it. Okay, let's talk.
Yeah.
Congratulations again, my friend. Yeah,
Thank
he's my frat brother, Mr. Dean, my AFIA brother. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hey, congrats on the NBA, brother. That is a huge deal.
I appreciate it, man.
Congrats, man. Wow.
Yeah, that's something that I always wanted. That was a goal of mine since like high school. I saw my dad get his. I always loved learning about business, so that's always been a goal of mine. And fortunately, I was able to go back to school during the pandemic. Got a full scholarship to go back to Morgan. So I got full tuition there. And that was an amazing experience. Balancing that and work, definitely not for the weak, but I appreciate every late night that I had to stay up to work on my research, every event that I was involved in, every case competition that I had the pleasure of representing Morgan in was amazing. I actually found out last week that the night before our graduation, the Graves School of Business master's program has an award ceremony. I didn't know until that night that I'd earned top 5 in my class, in my graduating class. So I got awarded for that. That was awesome, for sure.
How many kids were in there? 5?
It was 5 times.
Hey, Mr. Dean, what did you see at Earl when you first met him?
Huh?
What did you see at Earl back in the day when he was in high school at Poly?
What did I think of him?
Yeah.
Well, I thought of him as any other student.
Okay.
Yep.
I see all my students the same.
Okay.
Some people say, you just pick good students.
Uh-huh.
But everybody who sticks with us going to end up being a good student.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line. And but Earl was look, it was you have to understand. Some people would say we might be bragging or whatever, but Earl and Jason can tell you, everybody who stuck with the program, everybody who stayed in there and kept coming and kept doing the work, are having these stories. And that's just a given. Okay, because once you get that basic foundation, and the basic foundation, I'm not going to get into that because I don't want people claiming that I'm crazy.
Well,
but that basic foundation, reading, writing, and arithmetic.
uh-huh.
Grammar, arithmetic and algebra, and reading passages and answering the questions. Everything centers around those things. Everything you're going to do. Okay? Law school, medical school. We have kids going to medical school for free. We got kids going to law school for free, have law degrees, got them for free. And now the level at which kids are going is just much higher. Much higher. Earl and Jason, now they babies compared to what these kids are doing now. But what they were doing was very, it was big time stuff. People, Earl and his family couldn't believe that this guy was going to end up having the success that he has and he's having now, and he's just getting better. You just got an MBA this past summer. You haven't even started living yet.
Actually, it's last week.
Yeah.
Last week.
That's right, December. Yeah, you haven't even started living yet. Oh yeah. And I remember Corey got hers this past summer in May. But the point is that those things are automatic, Rod. I mean, success we take for granted. That I don't have hardly any kids who came and stuck it out and hung in there, took the test 3 or 4 times. Nobody failed.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has that success, and that's the beauty of it.
Mhm.
So when we look at it, all of these statistics show, the research shows, the kid who makes a 4.0 in high school, but only makes 1,000 on the SAT, only has a 20% chance of being a 3.0 student in college.
Mhm.
All right, now, the point is, when you learn the material that's on the SAT, everything else falls in place.
Mhm.
And Earl and Jason and all the kids who came through with them, they didn't even realize this. Okay, they just knew they were coming every day, being good fellows, you know. But then they look up and here come all these opportunities.
Uh-huh.
Now you listen to Jason talk about all of these opportunities, but all those opportunities are really a product of him sitting and just learning grammar, arithmetic and algebra, well, geometry, of course, and how to read a passage and answer the question. So when you go to college, I can write a great essay because I know grammar.
Uh-huh.
And let me tell you,
Okay.
I write a killer
I
essay
don't have
too.
a problem doing my homework because I'm great.
Yeah,
What you say? What you say?
I said I write a killer essay.
You know, this is.
I should let you see some of the feedback on my essays from grad school. My essays from grad school are fire, and I used to write them the night before. That's how I was like, too easy.
Hey, same
Right.
here, bro.
Once you learn this stuff, everything else is a piece of cake. You're going to go different directions. Opportunities are going to come, but you're going to be in a position to handle every opportunity that comes because like Jason said, he was prepared.
Preparation plus opportunity.
Look at the corporations. Look at the corporations Jason mentioned. You know, Booz Allen and all these places. Earl is what? With McCormick still?
No, well,
no, I'm at you right now.
Actually, I wish Wardell could be able to get on and tell the story.
He's gonna join soon. He's working on his computer.
Okay, one of the things before Wardell pops up, let's talk about the social. Everything was about today. MBA and social entrepreneurship. I know, Jason, you've had some ideas what you want to do in reference to giving back because you already said some things already. Earl, why don't you share some things with us? Mr. Dean, he's already showed you what MBA and social entrepreneurship is about because that's what his program is about, giving back and giving value.
You're going in and out, Rod. You're going in and out.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm going in and out. As I said before, Earl, why don't you share with us, and Jason, share with us your goals and plans regarding social entrepreneurship, some things I know you said you want to do.
Absolutely. Also, my father said he's backstage. Said, well, you can get him in.
I asked Marsha to pull him up, so I'm waiting for Marsha to bring him on. There. Hey, Wardell.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen?
Okay.
How you doing? Hey, four of my favorite guys here on this line.
This is too great.
I did not expect to be here tonight, but man, I am fired up. Hey, look, you guys are talking about Morgan State University. I have my Morgan State Bears shirt on tonight, representing well. And, you know, a little known fact is that most folks don't know, although I went to UMBC under Freeman Hrabowski to get my bachelor's degree, I received my master's of science degree in transportation with a focus in logistics from Morgan State University.
And Mr. Wardell mentored Earl when he started to work at McCormick. Am I right?
That is
absolutely. Earl, I think you interned with us one summer.
I did. I interned summer 2015. And then I was extended an offer into the rotational program during my senior year at Morgan. And,
right. And whose department did you work in on your first rotation?
Yours. It was the demand planning and customer collaboration team.
Absolutely. So I had the opportunity to take Earl under my wing, and Earl, I don't know how often we had kind of sessions where you and I would just kind of sit together, and I would set the expectation about, you know, you just kind of, you know, killing the game, you know, setting just very high expectations for you exceeding and really demonstrating excellence, and you certainly you certainly did that.
Sir, thank you.
I
And
think-
those conversations were monumental for my professional development, my ability to continue to grow within that program and excel after the fact. I'm still using and utilizing nuggets that I've gotten from our talks. So
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
And Wardell, at the beginning of this presentation, Mr. Dean, he quoted from the Bible, Hebrews 11:1, about faith and evidence. And we also talked about who mentored him when he actually got his job, because someone he met in college kind of pulled him in. So everything's coming full circle. Now, Earl's ready to discuss some things regarding social entrepreneurship. And just, here's some of those ideas. And Jason's going to say the same thing about social entrepreneurship.
yeah, well, I don't currently have an organization that I'm working on, but definitely always looking to connect and engage with the youth in terms of helping to figure out where they're trying to go career wise, and then building out a plan to get there. Passing on some of those same nuggets in terms of professionalism and trying to make the most of opportunities. Over the summer, I had an opportunity to work down at Johns Hopkins for their summer business program that they have with undergrads, and my team won second place in their case competition. Two of the folks on that team went on and won first and second place in the pitch competition. So doing things like that, engaging with things like the Daniel Payne Scholarship at Bethel, and I had the opportunity several months back to give a presentation to a couple of the high school students, talking about things like figuring out leveraging assessments and things of that nature to figure out what their strengths are, what their skills are, what careers are great fits for their skills, for their gifts and their interests, and charting a path forward, and making sure that they get what they need now so they can make it to that point. So those are things that are things that I'm passionate about, and hopefully look to delve a little bit deeper into those things.
Jason?
Sure. Can I? Let me see. Will this work?
I'm gonna try to show something. Okay. He's so technical oriented.
Can you see my screen? You see it yourselves?
I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you see this?
See what? No.
What I'm sharing?
No. You may. Oh,
No. Here we go. There it is, right there. Let's grow. Let's hear it. That's it. So enterprises. Let's go. You got it.
All right. So this is a project that me and my fiance have been working on for a couple of years. It's called Soul Enterprises. We wanted something simple that would be kind of universal. That's where soul came from. We wanted something that would be bright, but also kind of still related to the people. So the sun is very connected to the Black community. It's a source of energy and a source of growth. So we decided to brand kind of ourselves as Soul Enterprises. And our mission is, to be a leading enterprise and resource in growing communities and businesses. And essentially, we want to help people in the community, different organizations and their businesses to help grow within their businesses with whatever they're doing by connecting resources, fostering their talents, and really helping them to build foundations for a future to really, have equity in the world that we're creating. We think that we have a lot of leverage in this world as a community, and we want to help our people to learn how to use that, and we want to foster that so that we can start, keeping some of the equity in the work that we do. So that's essentially our purpose, and we have a couple ways of doing that right now. One way is our podcast, and we haven't uploaded an episode in a while, but we're getting back to it in 2023. But the Soul Connections podcast, essentially, we talk about things in the Black community that are, and just the community in general that are, not really talked about, whether that's mental health, or comfortable conversations and relationships, or breaking generational curses, or stuff like that. And we get down to the nitty gritty of it. And our goal is to really foster, important conversations. We want to foster these important conversations. So, for generational health, wealth, and love. So that's one way that we're giving back. Another way that I've given back to the community is through the free crypto ebook. I'm very into, like I said, the future, metaverse and stuff like that. So a lot of people were asking me a lot of questions about cryptocurrency, and I was getting a lot of recurring questions. So I figured, why not, put out a free book for people. This is what my original logo looked like, and cover and everything. But yeah, this is just a page kind of about, the book, and people can get it and download it for free. Or if they want a physical copy, we have it on Amazon. I don't know. Can y'all see Amazon now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's just a couple things that we do. And then, we also want to make revenue and stuff like that. So we do have a, let's see. We have a
I wonder who that is.
That's actually my aunt when she ordered her books.
Oh, yep. I forgot there's twins. Okay.
Identical twins. I know, right? But no, we have a luxury fleet of vehicles right now that we're looking to grow in 2023. And this is like our primary business right now, doing this. So
that's in Dallas, right?
Yep, in Dallas.
Now I think something's supposed to be happening in July in Dallas. I think I need to come on down to Dallas and get one of those vehicles when I go over to my fraternity convention. Jason,
you should. Yeah, I'll give you a good deal.
Okay. Okay, fantastic.
Hey, Rod, are you gonna be taking Earl with you down to Dallas?
Earl might be taking me because he got all the money.
That's my second home, man.
I forgot. Earl, you know what? I forgot. Jason, did you see Earl when he was down in Dallas?
I think he had moved by then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And you never met Brandon when he was in Dallas, right?
I don't believe so. I haven't met anybody since I've been here.
Brandon's back in New York right now.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna give everyone maybe 2 minutes to say something to close out everything. Reference to what happened tonight, Mr. Dean. Of course, you're the elder, so let's say something real. Only 2 minutes, Mr. Dean. Only 2 minutes.
Well, it take me 2 minutes to say good evening, but I would just like to say how proud I am of these two guys, but not only these two guys, but all of them. In their classes, there wasn't just 1 or 2 students. There were 40 or 50 students, and all 40 or 50 students in their classes are growing to and experiencing the same level of success, if not greater. And I just think that at some point it would be nice if some organization, some individual would just have a real concern about making sure that our kids learn the things that will make them automatically successful. And just do a little bit of research and you'll find that is the key.
Okay.
Once kids learn the material that's on the SAT, they learn the material. I'm not see a lot of people think that the SAT is just a test somebody put together, but the test was put together to show the president of Harvard that if he gave scholarships to rural class whites and middle class whites, they could do the work at Harvard. Now that's what the SAT was designed for. So when kids can master grammar, arithmetic, algebra, and geometry, and read passages and answer the questions, success is coming. It's not a pie in the sky. It's not a daydream. It's not a dream. It's nothing like that. It's just plain and simple. So if you listen to each of these two stories, when I came, they were prepared.
Okay.
And once you're prepared, you're going to keep getting opportunities. And these guys are still babies. Hell, they're not even 30.
Right. And speaking about Harvard, as I don't know, many don't know.
I want to thank you for having me on.
Oh, of course, Mr. Dean. Speaking about Harvard, many are not aware of the fact that the president of Harvard is an African-American woman now. At Harvard University, is an African-American woman.
The first ever.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Jason, you want to say something real quick?
I want to say that mentorship is life-changing, that I'm blessed to have met you two gentlemen, and that my parents dragged me to you, Mr. Dean, because it was like a domino effect. And I honestly feel like I'm speeding up in life and that I'm destined to do something great. And I think that the reason that I feel so faithful in that, and I feel like God is pushing me in the right direction, is because I have a solid foundation to believe in. I believe that I'm going to be able to make a huge impact. I'm really good at doing my work at IBM, but I believe that I'm going to be able to make a huge impact outside of my work in corporate. And yeah, I didn't even know that I was wearing this shirt today, but so thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Okay. Earl?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank you for having me on your platform. Just want to leave this one note. A lot of people talk about how their haters are their motivators, people who doubt them are their motivators. However, during my commencement, Wes Moore, during his keynote, said that, we should honestly focus our effort and our energy on proving people right rather than proving people wrong. And those people that you prove right are your village, the people who poured into you as you grew up and developed, the mentors, your sponsors, folks like you gentlemen on this call who have been a big part of my upbringing, my development as a Black man in America, as a professional, as a student. And I think that's something that really hit during the commencement. And I thought I would share, because when I look back at it, honestly, that's what really drove me to continue to pour out and do everything I could to be successful in every stage of life. And just once again want to thank you all for the impact that you've had on my life as mentors. Jason, as a peer, you're always doing great things, and it's great to see your friends do great things to continue to motivate you and push you to keep aspiring to do better. So once again, I want to thank you for having me on this call, and I wish you all a great evening and happy holiday.
You as well, bro.
And Wardell, you have to close out. You have to close out. Can't hear you.
I'm muted. So obviously I wasn't expecting to be on tonight, but this is I guess divine order that I'm here tonight with, again, as I said earlier, for my favorite men. Certainly I'll start with my son Jason. He was my road dog from day one, and I am super proud of what you've done, Jason, and what you continue to build. And obviously you've taken some of the foundational elements, and you've certainly elevated them and incorporated the things that your mom and I have shared with you in your life. And Jason mentors me, you all, in major ways. Right? I learn something from Jason on a daily basis. And then Earl, again, man, I've seen you just kind of grow, evolve. I'm so proud of everything that you're doing and everything you're going to do. And, I'm always here for you. And I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how God continues to bless your life. And then Rod and Tom, I had no idea when, I introduced my kids to your programs that you all would not only have a significant impact on their lives, but you guys have become good friends of mine. And I look at both of you guys not only as friends, but as mentors. So as I continue on my corporate journey, I know I've leaned on both of you guys when I've had success and when I've had challenges. when I've kind of had some questions about my ability to do certain things, and you guys have both always instilled confidence in me. So mentorship never stops,
Right.
even when you become a dude that's over 50. And I just wanted to really, publicly thank you all for what you've done for me in my life, and certainly for how you've supported my family as well. So again, it's great to be here with you all tonight, and happy holidays.
Okay, on that note, I have something to say to everyone on camera right now. Jason and Earl know that there's going to be an event on Monday after Christmas. There's something out at Columbia at the Busboys and Poets. And I'm calling it my last hurrah, being the fact that these guys they're so spread out through the whole country. I got some folks coming in from LA, Hawaii. So we're gonna get together. Well, I'll also ask you to be there because as a parent, you've been very part of the program.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, everyone will not be there, but Scott definitely will be there. Okay. But again, you guys have taken me on some journeys that I never thought I could even accomplish. But it's not the end of me working with you. I'm just going to a different plateau now. Roughly some things I need to do because I just turned 69, so there's some things I need to take care of myself. But again, I want to say thank you, everyone. Everyone have great holiday, a safe holiday. Mr. Dean, I'll probably be talking to you more about some ideas. Jason and Earl and Wardell, hopefully, and also Mr. Dean, I'm gonna invite you also to come out to Columbia on Monday night from 7 to 9. We're looking forward to it. I had to call Delonte this morning and said, you better bring something warm from LA. It's gonna be 15 degrees when you get off that plane. He said, what? So anyway, again, that's all I have to say.
One more thing.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Earl.
What's going on?
Put that NBA on everything. You see what I just did right there? Look, I got mine on the wall. Yeah, right there. Look.
I can't wait till mine comes in the mail.
I got mine on the wall. Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, you be great, man.
Great things.
Again, thanks so much. Thank you. Before I forget, Marsha Jules, thank you so much again as a producer. She pulled everything together today. People are not aware of that, what we were doing from 3 o'clock until right now. Again, Marsha, thank you so much again. And I'll be sending out the tape of this probably another day or so you can send everything out to your fan club, okay? Take care, God bless, and I'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you.
Take care. All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Everybody have a good evening.
Okay.
All right. Take care.